Night till the end for bloopers. Hey guys, I'm Moa, and today on this episode of Cardboard Craft, we're going to be making a Captain America costume for my little brother. And also, before we start, be sure to leave a like and subscribe so that you're notified every time I upload a video. Also, I'll leave a link to my merch down in the description below. Let's get started. Alrighty, so the first thing I did was I went shopping at my local thrift store and I got a shirt and some pants. And I already had this belt, but I might not use it. I might just make the belt out of duct tape, but I knew I could use these for the base of the costume. And under all of that, my brother will be wearing an Iron Man suit that he already had because it had a bunch of muscles in it that just make him look stronger because, you know, he's small and he needs some muscles. So, yeah. So I decided I would start off by making the pants because they're, you know, sort of boring and they'll be easy to tackle, get them over with. So I spray painted the pants blue, but then I ran out of spray paint. And I got some new stuff. And then came this fatal moment. I took off the cap and the spray nozzle was not there. The reaction was something like this. So I got even more and then it was fine. And so I finished painting the pants. I took some scrap paper and drew a template for the red stripe that goes down the pants. Then I used these wonderful tools called scissors to cut out that template. Sorry, this template will not be available. You can make it yourself. Good luck. Then to actually make the red stripe itself, I traced my pattern onto a strip of red duct tape. And I used yet another wonderful tool called a box knife to cut it out. And I basically just peeled away the excess on the outside, and then that was it. And of course I stuck them onto the appropriate place on the pants. The template that I made didn't actually encompass the entire red stripe, so I added a little bit with just a regular strip of duct tape, trimmed and tapered to my liking. Now it's time for the shirt. So originally I was not planning on spray painting the shirt at all, however the color of the shirt and the pants didn't really match, so I tried to spray paint the shirt, but it didn't really change anything because the shirt was too dark, but that was okay. Alrighty, so to start off the abdomen, I drew half a template, because I knew I could just flip it over later, and it would all be fine. And once again, I am sorry, but there will be no templates for this at all. Sorry. Then to actually make the abdomen, I took some 2mm white craft foam and just traced the half pattern on and then flipped it over. And obviously I cut it out. For the red parts on the abdomen, I used the same method that I did for the red stripes on the leg, and that is just taking the templates and tracing it onto some red duct tape, cutting it out, and putting it on. Then I took some black spray paint and spritzed the entire thing to make it look worn. I also drew on some details using a black Sharpie. Then I used some hot glue to secure it to the shirt. To start the top pattern piece of the costume, I printed out a star because drawing one is incredibly difficult, let me tell ya, I know from personal experience. Don't try it. And I only actually need half of the star, so I chopped it in half. Traced it on, and took it off. I just added a few more general details to the template. And I'm making the version of his suit from Infinity War, so the star won't actually be there. I want the suit to be as textured and layered as possible, so I'm going to use the duct tape method again for the lower part of the chest. So I just covered that general area in blue duct tape. Next I'm going to make the star out of some 2mm craft foam. Now originally I was going to do it out of some 3mm black craft foam just to make things a little bit more prominent and I wouldn't have to paint it necessarily then either. However, I'm out of 3mm craft foam and I can't dry it. So we'll just have to do with what I've got. So I traced it onto the foam, and then obviously I cut it out. And then for the details, I just drew those on with a Sharpie and cut them out with an X-Acto knife. And after I cut them out, it looked pretty awesome. Next, I hit it with a heat gun to prepare it for paint. Alright guys, so for a second here, things are going to seem a little wonkadilly. I was recording, and then my SD card ran out of storage space. so I had to stop, and then I picked up in the wrong place, so I'm sorry about that. There's not much I can do about it, but it should all make sense after like the first few clips here. So as you can see here, I spritzed the blue duct tape with some black spray paint to make it look worn, and then also off camera I spray painted the star black and cut out the rest of the foam templates. I also used some sandpaper to rough up a few places. Then I spray painted them blue as well as a spritzing of black to make it look worn. And then before I glued them on, I spray painted the letters black because they just weren't dark enough. And then I glued them on. For the shoulders, what I actually did is I had my brother wear the costume so that I could fit it to his shoulders nicely, and then made these two pieces. And then I spray painted them blue with a spritzing of black, and I glued them on. Alrighty, so while I was actually trying the costume onto my brother and putting the shoulders on, I realized that it was a little bit big, and when we tried to take it off of him after I had glued the shoulders on, it was really difficult. So I decided that I would do this. I cut the back clean in half and added some Velcro. For the shoulders, I just took some cardboard, spray painted it blue, black over just a little bit, you know, to make it look worn again, and then Sharpie all the way around for the detail. Then I added a red strip of duct tape on both sides. I already had some gloves that had some finger holes. If you don't have any, you can probably find them really cheap somewhere and just chop off the fingers. And then I spray painted them brown. I also added some cardboard strips to simulate straps. Then I took some scrap paper and some brown duct tape, and I made some super simple pouches out of them. And on the back of each pouch, I made a belt loop using some duct tape that I looped around over itself, and then covered up the sticky part with some more duct tape. And I looped them all onto the belt and called the belt a day. And then for the boots, we'll just be using some boots that we already had.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Okay, so before I film the end of this video, I'd like to apologize for the chickens in the background. But anyway, I really hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Cardboard Craft. I have had a ton of fun making it. If I could recommend one thing, it would be to build the costume onto your own, or whoever the subject is, whoever you're making it for, build it onto their body. Because the one problem I had was the white and red part at the very bottom of the shirt hung a little bit low, and it would have been nice if I could have tucked it in, then done the belt around it. It would have looked a lot cleaner. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Cardboard Craft. And as always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you're notified every time I upload a video.
Bloopers.
And then for the boots, we'll just be... Stop. And then for the... I can't do it. Chickens.